feeling a lot better. It's been a long road, so making progress feels good.
What has it been like just kind of going through summer workouts, being a full participant? How's your body handling all of it?
Yeah, it's been a couple summers since I've been able to have, like a full summer and actually come in like pretty ready to go. So it's been good to, actually be on the court, not be in the training room as much. But obviously, it's an adjustment. You don't just jump back in and everything's perfect. So just trying to, give myself some grace and, just kind of take it as it comes.
At what point were you able to do everything?
I was clear to do everything. It was just kind of more like how long I could go for. So just trying to build up what I'm able to handle for how long.
Do you know how long are you at right now?
Today I was pretty full. I didn't have to step out to the end. So.
What's it been like helping to mentor some of the younger players on this team, as they transition into this, new phase of their career?
Yeah, I think that's something I take a lot of pride in, having been here one of the longest on the team, just being somebody that they can go to. I feel like it was just yesterday that I was just coming in and it's overwhelming and everything's new, everything's different. So just to, be someone that they can go to, on and off the court. It's an adjustment for them off the court too, they're away from their families. So just, being someone that they can trust and go to means a lot.
We know you guys have team goals. We know what they are every year. What are your personal goals for the rest of this summer and as you get ready for the season and then going into for the season?
I think over the last few years, just trying to continue to get healthy. I think this past year was a huge step in getting cleared, and I think I didn't think that I would even get to that point. So I would say this summer is kind of just seeing how far I can push it, and because I didn't think I would even get cleared. Who's to say I can't continue to get better and continue to get back to who I used to be. So I think those are my biggest goals: is just to continue to improve, continue to get healthy, and see where that takes me.
Is there a part or maybe a couple parts of your game that either weren't diminished as much as you thought because of your time off, or maybe a little bit more than you expected because of the time off?
I think the biggest adjustment is just kind of, the physicality again and just being comfortable getting hit, getting bumped, not even just in the head, but just, in general, taking that physicality. But I knew that was going to be an adjustment. So then I feel like just the pace of the game, my reaction time, being able to follow the ball, track the ball, were just things I think that, I knew was going to be hard. But I think being out definitely helped me to, see the game better. So I think I did gain some insight being out, although, I obviously, have stuff to work on still.
Where are you feeling yourself the most now on the court?
I'm sorry?
Where are you feeling yourself on the court?
I feel like I just, I'm able to be versatile, and I feel like, I know kind of what to expect now. So just, again, like what I mentioned before, just trying to be a leader and help people, be in the right place at the right time and just, have a better sense of the game. When I was playing, I feel like I was still learning a lot. So I think now I feel like I can, help out other people.
The first time you got bumped either in practice or the game and then you bounced back up, did it give you a lot of confidence when you said, oh, okay, I feel great right now?
Yeah, it definitely gave me a lot of confidence. I think the first time I got bumped, I was kind of just a little bit in shock. Like, I was so used to getting bumped and immediately having a headache, so I was kind of like, is it gonna come? Am I okay? And then, once I was good, I was kind of like, okay, I'm good. The gym kind of was like, is she okay? Is she okay? And then I was able to keep going. So now obviously I don't like to get hit, but I think I've gotten more comfortable with it, and I'm able to adjust faster.
It's not in the back of your mind anymore as you're going to the hoop, knowing, okay, I'm probably going to get hit, but I know I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm definitely more comfortable with it.
A couple of questions about Ashlyn, if you don't mind. First, what have you seen from her during the summer session?
Yeah, she's been great. I think she's, continuing to grow in just her role and just her leadership. I think her voice has really improved. She's someone that, she's always in the right place at the right time. And I was always trying to tell you know what you're supposed to do. Just, tell everybody else. Like, where you're supposed to be. Tell other people where they're supposed to be. So I think she's just having that confidence. She's an upperclassman now. So just having that confidence to really be that person for other people too.
And to follow, similar to you kind of earlier, because she's had to play different roles. Mm-hmm. What does that say about her that she's willing to do that, wanting to do that, and that she's excelled at both of what she's done.
Yeah, I think she's always been very selfless to be able to just jump right into any role we need. When AZ's out, she jumped right in. She filled that starting role. When, she was just coming off the bench, she came in and she was Sixth Man of the Year. Like, I think she's just really filled whatever gaps we have, and I think that just speaks a lot to, her and how she's able to handle different things thrown at her.
Coach described you as one of the loudest voices on this team. Just how do you feel like you kind of developed that vocal leadership being on the sideline for so many years?
Yeah, I think it's definitely been an adjustment because that was not my natural. When I came in, he was probably thinking like, when is she going to start talking? So I think it took me a while to kind of get going. But then I feel like being out, it kind of dawned on me that was going to be my only way to really impact. So to be able to still have an impact on the team and on what was going on the court, I kind of had to use my voice because I wasn't playing. So I think, it's just I wanted to, impact in any way that I could, and that was the only way that I really could at the time, and now it just carries over being able to play.
Are you continuing with the hyperbaric treatment, or are you done with that?
Yeah, I was back there in May, and I'll, go back sporadically, but it's not right now, not while I'm at school now.
You spent a lot of time with Yana on the sideline, just going through both your guys' recoveries. How excited is it for you to see her now back to playing and back to being full go?
Yeah, she's been through so much in her years here. Like, it's hard to imagine she hasn't played in 2 years, and I've had a ton of injuries myself, and so we've kind of been able to, help each other through it. It's been a long road for her, so to just, today she got a bucket at the end, a huge rebound, and got a bucket and tied the game. So just for her to be able to, be on the court, be healthy, and you can just see she's starting to, trust her knee again and her shoulder again, and you can't even tell that, she's injured. And so it just means a lot knowing how much she's gone through and, how hard she's worked to get here.
How important was to have her by your side throughout? For her too, to have you guys together going through your individual recoveries? Yeah,
it's meant a lot to have each other because again, we've had different injuries, but we know what that's like to be out, and both of us for majority of 2 years. So to have each other to kind of when you're having a bad day that someone else is going through the same thing that you are, and that we can help each other through it. Whether it's both of us sometimes will be like, I don't want to talk about it, but I had a bad day. And we'll just kind of like be able to help each other through it and sit with each other. And other days, we talk about everything. So it's been nice to have each other.
Have you learned anything about yourself based on having gone through the injuries? Have you learned anything about who you are as a person?
Yeah, I would say I've learned a lot. I would say I don't know that, I never took it for granted being able to play. I had injuries, and so I was out for a while. Like, I knew what that was like to have it taken away from you, but I never really realized what it would be like to have it taken away from you and not know if you would ever, get it back. So I feel like I had to really shift my perspective to, this is bigger than basketball, and it is about, the rest of your life. But for me, the rest of my life, I hope, involves basketball. So it was kind of, putting everything into perspective and knowing that, if this is what I really want to do, like, there are risks that you have to take. And I guess just, figuring out how much you really love it and how much it's really worth it to you.
Are you saying coaching one day, or are you serious?
I would coach one day, yeah.
You and AZ have been through a lot of this journey together. Just what's it like now, knowing that this is kind of the last year for both of you guys as teammates?
Yeah, it is crazy. We were saying the other day, like, this is our last summer in stores. So we were just talking about, making the most of everything. 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know that we would have thought we would have been in this situation, having been through so much in college, having to stay for a 5th year. But, to be able to have each other again, to go through the same type of things together, and just to be able to, have one last year together, it does mean a lot.
How have you seen her grow coming off of the championship into this season?
I think her confidence has just grown. I think, we all know what she's capable of. And I think last year, not a lot of people saw, the struggles of coming back. You think once you're cleared, everything is, sunshine and rainbows. But, she had, her fair share of struggles, and so just to see it all come together at the perfect time for her was amazing to see. And then it's just carried over. You know, she's come every day here like the MVP of the national championship, so it's been great to see that.
Do you see her becoming more vocal as a leader? She always says she likes to lead by example, but are you seeing a more vocal Aiden?
Yeah, she's definitely become more vocal. I think that's obviously not her, natural way to go about things. Like you said, like she would rather lead by example. But I think, she knows that this year she kind of has no choice. So she does it in her own ways. She's not necessarily as loud, but it doesn't matter how you say it as long as, it gets the point across. And people respect her, so people listen whenever she speaks.
What's it like playing without Sarah? Obviously, you know what her impact is, but what's it like playing without her right now?
I mean, it was great having her here. I think, everybody can, learn from everything that she does. And I think now without her here, you can kind of see where people are going to step up. Obviously once she comes back, it's going to be very different. But I think it's been good to get all the other posts involved. We have a lot of new posts, so to get all the other posts involved, while she's gone.
What's impressed you about these new faces so far, like the 2 freshmen and the 2 transfers?
Yeah, I think they've all come with a ton of energy and a lot of excitement around them. They're definitely ready to learn, and they come with like great attitudes, a lot of confidence, but they also understand that this is not where they came from and this is not high school. So I think they're understand that, but they also come with experience, competitiveness, and having played college basketball, they know kind of what it takes.
This is the biggest roster you guys have had in a long time. Just what does the competition level feel like in practice right now?
Yeah, I mean, this is, probably the biggest since my freshman year. So I think, we were talking the other day, like in the years past, people have come in the summer and they kind of already know what their role is going to be and everything's kind of carved out. But I think this year it's a lot more competitive just because it's so, give or take. People don't really know. So everybody's fighting for their minutes. Everybody's fighting for their spot, trying to prove themselves. We have a ton of new people, a ton of people, playing different roles next year. So I think it's really helped the competitiveness and, everybody's ready to go.